Hey, welcome to the 2 minute drill with Cristen Jones, the QB quarterback. My name is Bernard Muhammad. We're broadcasting on the Bears Banner Talk Show platform. Hey, how you doing today, Christian?
Doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing good, man, brother. We had some beautiful weather today. The spring finally arrived. Did you get a chance to get out in the weather?
Oh, yeah, definitely did. Been waiting for it to warm up for a minute. Today was good to get.
I'm telling you, it seemed like you're right. It seemed like when the spring hit, it seemed like it got cold versus warm.
I know, right?
Right. Hey, we going into this 24 season. And for me, I don't know about some other fans, but I'm definitely excited. I mean, it looked like the Bears offensively are doing some things that we're kind of not used to them doing, is putting money on offense. I really don't subscribe to the Bears being a cheap organization. I think that's an old narrative. But I do think they've always spent most of their money on defense historically. And the only time I could say where they really spend some money on offense is one when they hit the screwed up contract to Mike Lennon, and the other one when they extended Jay Cutler. And I think Brandon got a nice contract. But here and there, they really spent most of their money on linebackers and corners and safeties and the defensive line. But offense, it would kind of, with no more cap room. But hey, what are you thinking about this season that's coming up?
I'm excited for it. I feel we should continue going up on that trajectory that we're going up on now. I like some things that I saw last year, and I'm just looking forward to see how all this comes together.
Yeah, me too, Christian. And one of the things when we talked about the Chicago Bears, we wanted to get together, and I know you're the QB coach, and we wanted to talk about some of the quarterbacks that's coming out in this draft. And let's just kind of start with the guys that probably they're talked about, but they're not really talked about as much as maybe being a first-round pick, if you got any opinion on. Hey, let's start off with Bo Nix. I mean, you have any opinion on Bo Nix?
I think he's going to come in and play well because he's been in college for 4 years. Where was he at? I know he was at Auburn, right? And then Auburn, he went somewhere else. No, I know he did junior college. That I know for a fact. I do know he went to Auburn, and then he ended up finishing out in Oregon, and he had a really, really good season last year. So I feel like he's seen a lot of football, and he's seen a lot of football at a high level. To play in the SEC is pretty big because that's the closest you're gonna get to NFL type of experience as far as game wise, because most of those guys that play in the SEC are gonna go to the next level with NFL.
Okay.
And then seeing what he did in Oregon, yeah, I think I think whoever gets him, if he gets to a right situation, it could work. If he goes to a team that it ain't, they not really gonna be patient with him, or it he messed up. Hopefully, he gets to a good situation, right situation.
Okay. Christian, I guess the other guy, I really didn't have much opinion on Bo Nix other than I do think his experience in college, because he played basically about, I think, 6 years in college.
Yeah.
And, I do have one other opinion of Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix has the potential to be a pretty good pro. I'm not saying he's going to be, Hall of Famer, but I kind of see him as the guy that's probably going to sit. It depends on where he's drafted at. If he end up falling to the second round or something, or in the lower first round, it's going to be to his benefit because he'll be a guy where he doesn't have that pressure to come in to have to play. So I believe with that experience, he's going to gain, and he may end up falling to a team that actually have a lot of pieces around it. So I see it as a positive as far as Bo Nix. The next guy up is my guy, Michael Penix Jr. You got any opinion on him?
To me, he's by far he throws the best ball out of all 6 prospects in this draft. He throws the best ball. He throws an amazing deep ball. The only thing that I feel is going to hurt him is the national championship game because he didn't play well.
Mm-hmm.
Like NFL scouts and coaches are really going to hold him accountable for that instead of looking at the totality of the season and how he's played. I feel like he may be the safest pick out of all the quarterbacks coming out because of all the things that he did and the way he articulates himself when he does interviews and talks about football and talks defenses and talks offenses. You know, intellectually, he knows what he's doing. Position. So I like him too. Hopefully he gets set up in a good situation. Hopefully he does.
Okay. Yeah, things I like about Michael Penix Jr. is beautiful deep ball, and I like how he works the field. The other thing I like about him is his leadership. His teammates really seem to rally behind him. And one of the things I was impressed with him when he was throwing to Rome Odunze is he threw a lot of back shoulder throws, which is very impressive. And his ball placement was good in the red zone. Now, one thing sometimes I would say about Michael Penix Jr. at times, he's very accurate, but it seemed like once he gets he get 1 or 2 incompletion, he kind of seemed like he goes through a cycle where he might have 3 or 4 incompletions in a row before he gets back on target again. But other than that, he's very accurate. But I do think that Michigan games in the injuries is going to be held against him because a lot of people really just didn't watch them. I know the scouts have a duty to watch them, but because those games came on late. But I watched a lot of Michael Penix Jr. I think if he fall in the right situation, I expect him to actually be a very successful, because looking at him, I thought he's one of the most ready today to play as far as some of the things he does. And I think just because of if he goes lower, a team may not be willing to flip their whole protection for lefty, unless he was a higher draft pick, right? If he's a lower draft pick, they may not be willing to flip all that, that whole line for now protecting the left-hand quarterback.
I agree.
Okay. Next, J.J. McCarthy.
I think he is if it was up to me, I would have told him, hey, go back to school for another year. He gonna have a hard time. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of who wasn't kind of sort of like Justin in a sense, because when Justin came out, Justin wasn't all the way ready yet, but he had some good attributes. He had some good tools. He had some things that you'd be like, yeah, he deserves to go in the first round. J.J. McCarthy has those same thing. He's crazy athletic. He has an amazing strong arm. The only thing is, when he was at Michigan, he wasn't asked to do a lot. And that's a problem. There's a couple of games with Michigan to where in the second half, he didn't even throw the football. So that's going to be a lot to go from you had certain games to where you didn't even throw the football in the second half to now you go into NFL, to the league, to where you might be asked to throw the ball 40 times a game. And that's a lot. I don't think us as fans and that watch football understand when you hear 40 completions, 40 attempts, that's a lot of throwing. Like, that's a lot of information. That's a lot of processing. That's a lot of game planning. That's a lot of stuff that we don't think about that goes into the game. So I would say he's I wouldn't pick him in the first round. I know he's gonna go in the first round. I wouldn't pick him because I just feel like there's so much in there that isn't ready yet. That's just my opinion.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, JJ is an interesting case. I think JJ is a very intelligent guy. Uh, he seemed like he's a team first guy, which may have worked against him at Michigan because just like what you said, there were games where it was the one game where I want to say Harbaugh was suspended for the game, and I want to say they threw the ball maybe 6 times in that game. That may come off as they didn't trust him to throw. Some people might view it as that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But you need how they view it. But what you need is experience. And
Yeah,
what he did a lot of I think I would say the things like the stuff as far as checking out of plays, but a lot of times his checkouts were checkouts into different run plays and not necessarily checking out 2 different pass plays and
mm,
making those second and third level adjustments that you would have to make as far as throwing. So you could actually probably, with a guy like him, get on a blackboard and he could explain it all to you. But the difference, what he's going to lack, I would say, is the experience of doing it.
I agree. He
Okay.
he just I just wouldn't pick him. I know he's gonna somebody's gonna fall in love with him, and they're gonna either trade up to get him or he gonna fall into their lap. We'll see how those. We'll see what happens when it's time for Arizona to pick.
Okay.
We'll happen then and see what they. But I just feel like he just needs some more experience. I wouldn't pick him in the first round. I just wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have him on my I have my draft order that I will gonna post sometime today that I'm gonna record on one of my predictions lists. And I agree with some of the scouts. I think the Vikings are going to be the team that fall in love with him, and they may try to make a deal with the Cardinals to move up. If they don't make a deal with the Cardinals, because the Cardinals asked for too much, I think the deal then may be with the Chargers because Harbaugh sounds like he has a love fest. That's all he keep talking about is JJ. He
Well,
definitely trying to make sure JJ get drafted. So not that he would draft him for the Chargers, but make the trade out of the position
yeah,
with the Vikings or somebody for them to draft McCarthy.
yeah. The Chargers they don't have that many draft picks in this draft, so
Yeah,
I'm sure to get out of that. What are they in? What, 6
they're drafting number 5.
or 5? Okay, yeah, yeah. I can see them probably want to do that.
Okay. Hey, let's move on to the main guys. Hold on, let me move this to. We got Drake May. Let's start off with Jaden Daniels.
Okay,
Okay, let's bring that on. Okay, we have Jalen Daniels. He comes in at 6'4", 210 pounds. I hope everybody who's out there watching. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the 2-minute drill with Cristen Jones, the QB coach, one of the segments of Baz Banner Talk Show. Okay, actually, Jaden Daniels been playing since 2019, so he's actually had 5 years of college experience.
mm,
Pretty impressive stats. He was the Heisman Trophy winner this past season.
was
Played for.
it?
Mhm. So for me, what I had on here, I had some strengths that I listed for him. I had good arm, definitely good on the D ball, very athletic. My weaknesses I had listed for him is he needs to add a little weight, especially
Yeah,
on his upper body. When I kind of look at him, his lower body looks fine. He kind of got some big legs, but I guess no Diddy. I'm just kidding. But he got kind of some big legs, but the upper body is small, which it makes it looks kind of like he definitely need to add. I say he need to add some muscle is one of the weaknesses I have. And another one I would say he throws a lot of deep throws, which is one of the problems I had with watching Justin Fields in college. Is sometimes when you have excellent blocking in college and great receivers, where he what was the receiver there? I'm going brain dead. What's the guy name coming out of
Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors? You have a game changer like that. So sometimes you fall in love with the deep ball and you're able to make those deep balls. But what I really want to see is, can you make those intermediate routes consistently? Can you make those 6 to 8 yard throws consistently? Fit it in those real tight NFL windows, right? When the blocking is not all that great. Hey, what do you have on Jalen Daniels, Christian?
He throws the ball really, really well. I like his throwing motion is real tight, compact, and quick, and he repeats it. Like he repeats it every single time, and it looks the same. It don't look different. His mechanics, his footwork, everything I like. Like I don't have not a negative thing to say about him. And what else I like is that he played at Arizona and he entered the transfer pool and he came here. So he's another guy. He's 23 years old, so he's a little bit more mature. I think if he goes to Washington, he gonna suffer some lumps, but I think that he'll be able to make it because the simple fact is he really, really, really has played a lot of football, and that at the quarterback position, the more reps, the more times that you see things, the more you become better and more comfortable playing the position, and it becomes now you instead of you playing it just becomes you within the game. You know, you'll
Mm-hmm.
start eat more quicker, and you'll be able to make quicker adjustments. His only weakness is just his weight. He is like I was telling you, he's like Bryce as far as his weight. That's the only thing that I would be concerned about. But as
Okay.
far as his film, it's really good. It's really good.
Okay. Let's go to the next guy. Let's bring. I think I'm struggling with bringing that on the screen. There we go. Okay. Um, we're gonna go to Drake May. We had Drake May coming in at 6'4", 229. He had 2 years starting at North Carolina, and his 2022 season, he actually threw for 4,300 yards, 517 attempts, and his 2023 season. I watched some of his games. I wasn't as impressed with some of the games this year as I was the year before. But anyway, the strengths I had for him, I do actually have him as very athletic as far as he does some things that I really he doesn't look like he should be able to do. I mean, he's not as athletic as Jalen Daniels or
Yeah.
Caleb Williams. So I have to make sure people watching this don't think I'm saying that. I think he is accurate. He could throw inside and outside the numbers. One of the weaknesses I noted for him is he at times he seems to want to play hero ball too, and sometimes he doesn't take those check downs and easy throws that he should just go and make. Because sometimes it's just about moving the chain. It's not about having that explosive play, but it's moving the chain, getting your offense into a rhythm, and getting first downs.
I
What you
agree
have?
with that's the same grade that I have on him. I like his accuracy though. He's another one that's very accurate. The top three quarterbacks in this draft that are projected to go 1, 2, 3, they all are very accurate, and they
Mhm.
all really, really, really good, strong arms, and they can make those tight NFL throws that you would need to make, and so they got the arm strength to do it. Um, his knock for me is I don't like quarterbacks that come out of weaker conference, so I wouldn't. you gotta dominate for me to pick you. Like you gotta be like putting up crazy numbers and for me to be like, okay, kind of sort of like Andrew Luck, when he was with Stanford, how he
Mm-hmm.
totally dominated that to where it was just like, okay, yeah. I didn't really see that from Drake. For me to be like, okay, I would pick him number one. So that's the only thing that I would say. But I will say that I do have a first round grade on him though. Like I do believe that he could be a franchise quarterback. It's just I don't know what his ceiling or what his floor is gonna be. That's the only thing that I'm having a hard time trying to figure out because he played in the SEC and I didn't really see him dominate games on a consistent level the way that I would have liked to see him do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Christian. The interesting thing about Drake May as well physically, he looks kind of lanky.
Yeah.
And it could be his height, just like with Jalen Daniels, with both of them being 6'4". But for me, he looks more like he's about 215. What the hell listed at 229? He looks
Yeah.
more like he's probably around like 215. I'm not sure, but they have him listed at 229.
Yeah. He does look a little lanky, but the good thing is I feel like he would add some more good weight as he get older.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden Daniels, he kind of sort of reminds me of RG3 a little bit.
Yes, yes.
That's his body type. And hopefully he's smart enough to play like Lamar Jackson and not take any hits. Because
Mm-hmm.
but Drake May, I think he might be able to add weight and have he does look lanky, but he can probably add weight and be like Big Ben or Philip
Okay.
Rivers, one of
Okay.
those because they
Hey,
are.
uh, Kristen, that's a very valid point about he doesn't take those hits because if you think about when quarterbacks get sacked, now it's more upper body
Mm-hmm.
when you're getting hit, right? Because you can't hit them low. And that was one of the things when I looked at RG3 playing in college, he looked small. I want to say RG3 probably came out, maybe he was 195 pounds, somewhere in there. I mean, he looked like he was under 200. They might have listed him at 2, but he did definitely never look 200.
Yeah, RG3 and Jay Daniels to me had the same body type. And what killed RG3 was he was taking on them hits, and that's what ultimately ended his career. If he would have played a little bit more elusive and avoided hits like Lamar Jackson, he'd probably still be playing today. But he took too many hits, and you
Mhm.
got that body type, you're not gonna survive.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I remember when Tim Tebow was with Denver. I remember how he did it. He said in an interview that he put on more weight to be able to take the contact because when he was with Denver, they was running the ball more because he couldn't throw the football. He just couldn't do it, and he added on more weight and he was able to survive the season. So he's pretty much a quarterback playing running back. And here you go, the opposite of your RG3, who you like you said might have been 195, maybe 205, and he couldn't hold up. So hopefully Jaden Daniels, because he's gonna go to I don't see him getting drafted by the Bears. I just don't. I don't see nobody outside of Caleb being drafted by the Bears. So if he goes to either Washington or he goes to the Patriots, he's gonna have to learn how to protect himself, or else he's gonna get killed.
Okay.
Them some bad teams that he's going to, and their offensive line needs a lot of work.
Okay. Hey, Christian, thank you for that input. We're gonna get to Caleb. Before we get to Caleb, let's take advantage of your QB knowledge so people know that when we call him a QB coach, he's a QB coach. Hey, Christian, can you explain like what is a dagger concept?
Yeah. So a dagger concept is you have it doesn't matter how you do it because you can use this concept in any way, but you have a seam route, then you have a dagger route, which some people call a dig, or yeah, I just said dig, a dig or a square in. So you got the seam, and then you got the dig, and it's going like this. And backside you'll have like a post.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what a dagger concept is.
Okay. Hey, thank you, brother. Good
You
information on that.
in so many different ways. You can get through it 3x1. You can get to it in double twins. There's so many ways that you can get to it in bunch formation. Um, it's so many different ways how you can get to a dagger concept.
Okay. Okay. You know, I brought that up because Caleb had just mentioned about he loved running the dagger concept and receivers running dagger routes. And so let's bring this up with Caleb Williams. We have Caleb Williams officially listed at 6'1", 215, 3 years college ball. First year was at Oklahoma University. Then his last 2 years in 2022 season, he's actually was the Heisman Trophy winner, where he passed for 4,000 yards, 37 TDs, 4 interceptions. Then his current year, he had 30 TDs and 5 interceptions. Now, the thing I do like about Caleb, hold on, let me get over his strengths. Caleb is accurate to me. Caleb has great vision and great arm strength. Weaknesses, he plays off script a lot, plays hero ball too often. And even though Caleb doesn't really throw that many INTs, he definitely fumbles the ball. Some of the fumbles are from wanting to play hero ball. He's carrying the ball low, down by his side, balls that just fell out his hand or he was hit. Um, those are what some of his fumbles are. But Caleb is good at seeing guys up the field. The way he scrambles in the backfield, it reminds me of two guys from the 1970s, Franz Tarkenton and Roger Staubach, of guys who was great scramblers, kept the vision up the field and hit guys, but his throws are ridiculously accurate when he's throwing from there. And you can manage those fumbles, but I love the fact that he doesn't throw a lot of picks, because when you're in college, for me, you need to be in those single numbers of INTs. And if you look at it, his whole college career, he's thrown a total of what's that, 5, 9, 4. He's thrown 13 interceptions. Look like that's 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 a great starting point to only thrown 13 interceptions in college. And I'm gonna go back to, for example, comparison of like a Jameis Winston. I didn't really like Jameis Winston coming out of college because he had seasons where he threw 13 and 14 interceptions in one season. And even though he had a lot of great comebacks in the Florida when he's playing out of Florida State, I thought those turnovers, they're hard. The windows in the NFL are harder to throw. So if you're having like double-digit turnovers in college, that is a concern. Hey, what do you have on Caleb Williams?
Okay, so I've been really, really digging into watching this film. I would say I wish I remember. I wish I had it in front of me because I don't remember. But he had a very, very impressive completion rate on third down, which is important in the NFL, keeping the chains moving. So I like the fact that he has a very, very good high completion rate on third down. Um, I like how accurate he is, but I love his anticipatory and how he his anticipation throws. Are really good. He doesn't miss often, and that's good. So I like that about him. His arm strength I like about him. The only thing that I would say that scares me with him is the fumbles in his mechanics in the pocket. I feel like he has it, but he was too out of control. He didn't play in the confines of the offense. He was doing all that other stuff, hero ball, to where you didn't really get a chance to see it. And when I see the fumbles, it's like, okay, those are the two things that you got to really like clean up in the NFL, because those throws you're not gonna do that all the time. I know we
Mhm.
get I know we get enamored with how Pat Mahomes does it all the time. But Pat doesn't do that all the time. He does it when he needs to. When you watch Pat play, he plays sound football, fundamentally sound football. And he works the offense. That stuff that Caleb was doing, everybody thinking there's not gonna be a lot of times that you do that. Like there are gonna be times that he does that, but it's not gonna happen at the rate that he was doing it at USC. So
Mhm.
hopefully he cleans that up and learns to play on time and to play inside of an NFL offense. Other than that, I'm excited to see what he does when he gets here. I don't really too much have that many flaws on him. It's just those things, the fumbles and not playing on time. Those are two things that scare me, because we've seen quarterbacks here do that, not be able to play on time, and it wasn't good for us. And first person to come to mind is Jay. Like Jay's first couple of years here, he was not playing on time.
Mhm.
And I hope people understand what I mean when I'm saying that. It's just like Jay wasn't going through his reads. Jay would he would kill a play before he even got a play, an opportunity to even develop, or he would totally miss the structure of reads in that offense. He would miss what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to do it. And Caleb reminds me of that, because and a lot of times I felt like he had an opportunity to go with the concepts that I was watching him do. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, he had an opportunity to really work them concepts, but he didn't. He decided to do his own thing, and yes, they made some big games or a touchdown and stuff like that. But as a quarterback, I know I'm like, yeah, that's not how that was supposed to went down. But good throw though.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, great point, Christian. A lot of great points. I think Plank, one of our co-hosts on Bears Banner Talk Show, had pointed out the other day that Caleb had 3 years of college football. He actually had zero turnovers on third down.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was it was impressive completion rate that he had, and it's that's impressive, because that's ultimately why Justin Fields is here, because of his play on third downs. And when you get into the playoffs now, because you get so many possessions now, because the game has changed. You're not allowed to play defense how it was years ago, like 2 decades. So you're gonna get a lot of possessions, and if you miss two possessions and you get three and outs and they score, that's pretty much the game. Because if
Mm-hmm.
a team comes down and score, you got to come down and get a score.
Mm-hmm.
And if you at any point don't convert on those third downs, it's a problem. And that's why they was like moved on from Justin, because they didn't feel like he had the ability to consistently make those throws on third down.
Hey,
And
Christian, you know, man, great information, and I think having this show on the quarterback, and as you kids expanding your platform on the 2 minute drill. I hope the people who out there view this show get a better understanding of quarterback play in the NFL, and even just the concept where you were saying playing on time. And your example of Jay Cutler is a great example. Uh, I like Jay Cutler, but definitely, especially Jay first year, you're right. Jay did not play on time. Also, Jay was a quarterback to me. When I say Jay, for those who just joined us, Jay Cutler would he was a guy that liked to see it before he threw it, and before he throw it. And the disadvantage of that is it gives defensive back who have great recovery skills to able to recover on that throw, right? And so, which led to me to some of the interceptions that he would have in games because he wanted to see it. But the thing about the NFL, if you wait to see it, you better be able to get that ball in there quick. And plus, you probably miss those windows that open, especially in zone defenses. There are certain windows that open up, and that ball needs to be in the air in those anticipatory throws where that ball is in the air when that guy is about to enter that zone, that open zone. Not when he get to that zone. Before he get to that zone, you have to throw that ball and get that ball there.
Jay and Justin's my guy. I love Justin Fields. And I was a big fan of Jay Cutler too. Yet I have to be honest, and those two guys, they like throwing balls that you got to put it on them. So certain routes that they like throwing, stick routes, outside comebacks, post ends, hitches, things of that nature that you don't. Those are not necessarily anticipatory throws. Those you can just put on a guy. But the problem is you can't run those type of concepts all the time in the NFL because corners, the secondary linebackers are too quick and too smart. They'll sit on that all day. It doesn't matter how strong your arm is. It doesn't matter how you can manipulate the ball. They'll sit on that. The throws that those two guys struggle with are the dagger concepts, the square ends, the China routes, the whip routes, things like that where you have to put the ball in a certain area and it has to be there before that wide receiver makes a break. The wide receiver might have his back turned, haven't even made his first cut into a whip route. And that ball's got to be thrown because if it's not, that DB can recover. I've seen it so many times that with Jay and Justin that they don't, and those are throws that they struggle with. And that's ultimately why their careers didn't turn out the way that it could have been or should have been. But when you look at guys who do it on a regular, we take it for granted because we think like, oh, that's a throw. Like, it's a hard throw, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, those guys did that at a very, very high level and still do. And Joe Burrow. And that's kind of sort of what we need our guy to do to order to be able to, we want to win a Super Bowl, or we want a quarterback who, is going to be an all-time Pro Bowler or all team. He's going to have to come in here and he's going to have to learn how to make those throws consistently.
Okay. Hey, great information. Hey, those who tuned in tonight, please hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to Bears Banner on YouTube, and also check us out on Facebook and also on Twitch TV. And this is another segment of Bears Banner called a 2-minute drill with the quarterback coach Cristen Jones. And unless something else happens, it's pretty much guaranteed the Bears is going to draft Caleb Williams. So we were just talking about some of the strengths and weaknesses of him, and then we actually brought up like some of the similar weaknesses that we saw in Justin Fields and Jay Cutler, and also the strength. And early this season, I just want to backtrack on a comment you made on Justin Fields. It was before he had the incident where he said pretty much he was being overcoached. And there was a route, and I don't know, I can't think of the guy's name. Ryan, ESPN, Ryan. He used to play for Clark. So Ryan Clark was breaking down this play one day, and I thought Ryan was doing some bias analysis. He said it was early on, and this is when people was questioning where receivers open. And he said, this guy's not even open because he's not looking. And I said, Ryan Clark, that's ridiculous. The quarterback knows what routes he's going to run. He doesn't have to be looking. If that's a whip route, he just throw it. And that guy should be breaking. He breaks he throws the ball where that guy's going to break on that route at. He don't have to be looking. So I thought that was at points too where I know as us as fans at some point that we were not being honest on some stuff like that we would see like, hey, you got to make that throw, and also make that check down. And we making this comment on the check down as reference to maybe Drake may not taking the check down, and also with Caleb. So one of the things I thought he wanted to do on his pro day, he wanted to prove on his pro day, not that I could throw deep balls, because y'all know I could throw deep balls. He wanted to show that I could actually make these short throws. I could throw on time and let this guy run a short route and I throw it on time. So to me, I was impressed by that, him wanting to do that. And I could say I'm just now kind of getting on the bandwagon uh, of Caleb, of accepting that he's going to be there, because I was kind of on the fence of I prefer Jalen Daniels over him, but hey, they're going to draft him, so it's making me look at film a little bit more than him. I think Kalen has a great future ahead of him if he can make it work. If Caleb doesn't work out, I would say if it looks like it looks now, it's because he bombed out and not because the Bears are not putting them in a situation. I would say this is the most experienced coordinator they've had as far as offensive coordinator, why he's on top of his game. When they had Ron Turner the last time with Lovie Smith, he had been in college and he was kind of behind on some of the NFL concepts and stuff like that. When they got Mike Martz, he was already kind of like at the point where his quarterbacks are getting killed with those 7-step drops and all that. It wasn't the Mike Marks that was the innovative guy initially when the Rams were the greatest show on turf. If we didn't get that Mike Marks, I think the closest we might have got was we had the first year with Trestman, we had a pretty decent offense, but no defense at all. And then Adam Gates, he might have got one of the best years out of color, but it wasn't a full season. But at the most part, the Bears, what I think fans are, they get caught up into the narrative that the Bears haven't developed a quarterback, which is true. But the Bears, to me, have not put a lot of into having a good offense. That's why I'm bringing up these coordinators. Your coordinators are as good as your quarterback could be. So it's hard to develop quarterbacks when you actually are not bringing in quality OCs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then when you look at the Bears' history, you could go back to how often the Bears were drafting first-round picks, and they was picking running backs versus quarterbacks. You could go back to, what was the guy's name? Cedric Benson was drafted. Actually, Cedric Benson was drafted, I want to say, in the same draft that Jay Cutler was drafted in. Cedric, and I think that was the 2006 draft. If the Bears needed probably a quarterback, but I'm just saying, you ended up getting Jay Cutler 3 years later when you could have actually got him in that draft if you liked him, but you drafted Cedric Benson, but you already had a running back in Thomas Jones. And you could go back to when they drafted like Rashad, what's his name? Abdul Salam.
Yeah.
A bunch of running backs that the Bears were drafted. They drafted Curtis Enos in the first round when you needed a quarterback, but you drafted running backs.
I agree. I would say that two things that I hope it's not gonna happen. I wish that it would, but that's too much like right. That the fans don't look at Caleb Williams as the next Pat Mahomes. Just let him find his game and go from that. Because he coming into a unique situation. Because this technically, if we're gonna be honest, was not a 7-win team. We gave up 2 games now. So the record should be a little bit better than what it was. So he coming into a situation with a team that's ready to win. That's pressure. He the number 1 pick. That's pressure. When people look at him and they compare his games, they say, next Pat Mahomes. That's pressure. So if I was the Bears and this coaching staff, I would try to implement some of the things that he did last year in that offense with USC, and I would try to make a big chunk of that my offense, and then I would kind of weed in what I want to do. Because the last thing that you want to do is you don't want to force somebody into your system and they can't do those things. We've seen it so many times and it does not work. But when we do see it work, I don't understand why we don't make a big um, note of it and say, "Dang, look at this team. They doing this, and look what the system they running." We've seen it with Cincy, Joe Burrow. We've seen it last year, C.J. Stroud, and what they doing. They did a lot of the same stuff he was doing when he was at Ohio State. Can we do that with our quarterback this year? That's all I'm asking. I respect our new OC. I think he does. He does really good stuff, especially in third down situation. I just hope that he comes into the situation and say, "Okay, I know what kind of offense I run, but let me make this rookie year easy for him. Let me start putting in some of them same concepts and some of them same things that he did at USC here, so that way we can have a fast transition into this." That's what I hope to see. If we don't do it that way, I expect him to have some games to work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Christian, somehow we lost you. Oh, there you go. You went mute. Um, yeah, we can't hear you, Christian. Let me see what happened right there on your side. Yeah, Christian, you are mute. So anyway, Christian was just talking about. Yeah, Christian, you're mute on your side. Check your microphone. So anyway, Christian, check your microphone. You're mute. Maybe you can't even hear me either. But I hope everybody who's out there viewing that they can hear both of us talking. So one of the things Christian was talking about, the Bears' new OC, Shane Waldron, being able to. Your mic went on mute, Christian. I don't know if you could hear me. Okay, yeah, somehow we lost Cristen Jones. But anyway, we doing a quarterback show, and Christian and I was talking about the Bears' new OC, and we just did evaluation of the quarterbacks who are coming out in the draft. We did evaluation on Michael Penix Jr. We did a evaluation on Bo Nix. We did something on J.J. McCarthy, Jalen Daniels, Caleb Williams. Hold on, let me check this. I think Christian. Let him know. Oh, there you go, Christian. Looked like he came back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, you had went mute when you said the new OC coming in and doing some of the concepts that he did in college. I agree with you. Hopefully they do make that change, and I'm hoping with this being one of the change for the Bears. And I will say this is, if you're a Bears fan, I know a lot of people have hurt feelings or they're upset because of Justin Fields. And I definitely wish Justin Fields luck in Pittsburgh. But you know what? We got to turn the page on that. I don't care how much we complain about it or be upset about it. They're not about to trade backwards and trade back and get them. I mean, that's not about to happen. So you either going to get on board and hope this quarterback had a success. And you know what? And you know what? And let go the Penn State game. I think it was the Penn State game. Notre Dame. I'm sorry, it's the Notre Dame game with Caleb Williams, where a lot of people didn't watch Caleb Williams this year at all. And when they did watch, they just watched the Notre Dame game. That was the Notre Dame game, wasn't it, Christian?
Yeah, it was the one he was crying. No, that was the Washington game. The Notre Dame game, he had a terrible game. The one where
That's what I'm talking about.
The one
No, I'm talking about the Notre. I'm talking. The Notre Dame game I'm referring to as
yeah.
far as a bad game.
Oh, yeah,
So a lot of people are evaluating, can he play based off the Notre Dame game. Every quarterback has a bad game in college. It's going to happen. Sometimes it happens in the national game, like we mentioned Michael Penix Jr. earlier having a bad game in the Michigan game. Even if we talking about Justin Fields killed Clemson in that game. But in that next game, I believe it was against Alabama, that was a horrible game, that he played. I mean, so yeah, you're gonna have those games. The thing is with an NFL quarterback is, can you have a short memory? Can you have a bad play or a bad game and rebound? And this is why I like the receiving core. You got veteran right now. You got two veteran guys, wideouts, and you got two veteran tight ends, and you got now running back in Roschon Johnson with experience. You got to work on his blocking some, and then you got DeAndre Swift in the backfield who's catch the ball well out of the backfield. And Kenan Allen, I pointed all the time, a great route runner. So if you play on time, Kenan is going to be open. DJ is going to be open. You're gonna be able to run the ball. I'm excited about this, man. I'm excited.
I will be jumping through hoops if I see the first 2 weeks, because they're not gonna show it in the preseason. We're not gonna see anything in the preseason. But I'll be jumping through hoops, and I'll be very excited if I see those same concepts that he ran at USC, because then that lets me know that they are really, truly on. Everybody's on board about developing him, and we'll be able to see him play a little faster. If I don't see that, and I see him in the real offense of Shane Waldron, which is the West Coast offense, it's gonna take a little. The verbiage at best is long as ever. It's a lot in. It is a quarterback friendly offense, but there's so much you got to learn to really get comfortable with it. And who knows? I mean, if we do what they did with CJ Stroud, yeah, we gonna win a couple of games. We should be in the playoffs. If they don't, then we probably looking at next year to see that big step.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
that
Chris, I want to ask you something. If you don't mind sharing, or if some come to mind, can you give an example of what you would say? It's a lot of verbiage in that offense. Can you give an example like what a play would sound like? This is for our viewers to understand. Like what do you mean by long verbiage?
okay, so you have a protection. The protection might be scat protection. So they might be like scat Y2 22 Y post, something like that. So the 22 can mean that and this is 4 wide. So that 22 can mean that guy to the right of me, that Y, who could be a tight end or a U. He can be running. That could be an alert. 22 could be an alert. It can be anything. That's what I mean. So it's like you got to have the protection. You got to have the play call. Then you got to have the alert. Then you got to have the second play that'll be, hey, this is what we're going to. So it can be like, yeah, you got to call a protection like scat protection, 22 wide cross or something like that. That's a lot in an offense, and then you got a second play that they'll give you as well. Whereas when you come in from college, everybody looking at the sideline, and they might hold up a sign, and everybody know what we're running. Like if that one sign might be, "Hey, we're gonna run mesh," or "We're gonna run rail mesh," or "We're gonna run Lions," or "We're gonna run Yankee," and it could just be like, I got up a sign and it's got New York Yankees on there. Okay, we're gonna run Yankee concept, and we go on silent count, so everybody know what count it is. There's no hard count, but when you get to like NFL, it's stuff like that. Like scat protection mean 5-man protection.
Mm.
They might, if he calls half slide, that could be like, if we're gonna slide to the left, that might be like Larry 55, so and so, so and so.
Man, I'm
And
a football nerd, dude. Man, this stuff here
like
gets me excited, bro. Hey, go ahead. I'm sorry.
when you like hear them call out like the mic, for instance, the mic could be anybody, and I just want everybody to know that like you might say like, okay, our middle linebacker is what's his name? What is our middle linebacker name?
Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, Trey Evans. We ever know his number is 49. But they might say 53 is the Mike. That's letting everybody know, hey, we gonna slide to the left. Running back, that's the Mike. That's your guy. Anybody else that comes out of any other gap that's the quarterback's responsibility. And a lot of people don't know that. Like a safety can come down and they can say, hey, that's the Mike. So we're going to slide everything and not a full slide, a half slide. So what a half slide is, let's say you got a two technique, right? This is the two technique. This is the center. This is the left guard. The left guard is going to half slide over into that other gap. The center is now going to take that two technique, and now we good. Everybody's good. Everybody's blocked, and whoever comes on the front side of the quarterback, that's his responsibility, and he knows he's got to hit the hot route. So that's when you hear them say, "This is the Mike." Okay, that hot receiver knows. Okay, I gotta. This is an alert. I gotta go to this. Well, it's not an alert. I gotta go to this route. The quarterback knows. Hey, if this is a true blitz, then I gotta hit him. That's how protection goes. It's half slide or it's a full slide, or it's a 5-man protection with a scat protection. That means the running back isn't helping in that protection at all. We got a lot of people going out in the routes. If you
Yeah,
get an
yeah,
alert,
yeah,
if you
Christian.
get
This is some
huh?
very, very, very good information, man. You know, this little football nerds like you and I and some of the other people out there watching, man. You talk about this, man. It's like, oh man, I know Jay get excited when he started
Yeah,
talking about routes. But anyway, hey, Christian, that's what summer. Not to beat a horse when it's down, but that was some of my issues last year at times where I know a quarterback in the play call, you have the protection being called, and so sometimes when I look at the PFF grades on the offensive line, it was not as bad as a lot of fans would like it to be, and sometimes there were breakdowns. Of course, we had injuries at some point, but I definitely believe that you if you're not identifying the mic on pass plays, it's make me kind of wonder: are you actually knowing what you are seeing as a quarterback? And also, if guys are not going in motion, and I know sometimes when guys are young in the NFL, you want to keep it as simple as possible because you don't want to confuse them.
yeah,
And yeah, but when you start getting multiple years in, people they have your tendencies, they start knowing what you look at. They kind of looking at you, and if you tip off stuff, they kind of know when you'll stand a guy down or where you're gonna go at with the ball, and maybe they bait you into that, or they're gonna take that away. And in our case, maybe they're gonna take it away last year, and they're gonna make
yeah,
you make another throw. They're gonna make you make the throw they don't think you can make. And
absolutely.
when you start talking about hot routes and stuff like that, the thing about hot routes is this is why I mentioned guys who throw deep throws, like say a Jay and Daniels, and got great deep throws the deep ball great, and also about Drake sometimes may not want to take the check downs. When you have that hot route, it's probably something real short and quick, something real short and quick, and you as a quarterback has to know that. You have to know that. You have to know, and you can explain it better than me, and we talk about it on another show. You have to know what your drop back is. If that's a catch and stab and throw, that's what it is. It's not 3 steps, 5, skip 2 steps forward and think you're about to throw a hot route. That's not about to happen.
You're absolutely right. There are concepts um that are built into your drop is built into the concept, and if you get a different look, then your drop will change. You can have a flood concept on one side. You have a flood concept on one side. That just means you got three guys. You got three guys going to one side, or it can be four. You just flooding one side. And then
Mm-hmm.
you got another concept, I'll say a stick concept to your left. Now, depending on the coverage, depending on the coach, if we get this coverage against this, okay, we're going to work this stick concept. So your drop can turn from a 5-step from gun to 3 with a hitch going straight to the second concept. That's typically how it goes. Um, and when your hot concept, when you are working your hot routes, I like when quarterbacks control the protections. Certain offenses, the quarterback is responsible for that. Certain offenses, they're not. Um, I like when a quarterback can do that because at the end of the day, now that's on you. But when you allow the center, who at some point he gonna lose vision of who steps up, then it kind of gets tricky, and that's what pissed me off. Excuse my language. Against the Vikings game, because that wasn't Luke Getsy's fault. That was on Justin Fields when he got sacked. That
And the
first,
very first play of the game, yeah.
yeah, that wasn't Luke Getsy. If y'all go, please go back and watch. Even if you don't know to the nuances of the offenses and stuff like that, you will see how everybody slid to I think it was the right. Yeah, they
Mm.
slid to the right. The defensive end came screaming. Justin was supposed to have already hit that hot route because that was built into that offense. And that let me know that it was either Justin didn't understand pass protection in the offense or the coaches didn't really teach him to how he learns pass pro.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully they develop Caleb to where everybody is copacetic. Everybody understands what this is the offense that we're running. This is what we expect you to do as a quarterback. We're gonna make this easier for you. Boom. Because pass pro it can get tricky. Especially so many bodies walking up, and you gotta ID somebody. And yeah, it can get tricky.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap up in a few minutes. And matter of fact, sometime tonight I'm gonna share my top 9 picks in the NFL. And you did mention something, Christian, about quarterbacks in college getting all the plays from the sideline. And what that basically you are seeing is guys who I know we may think is tribute, but it's not. Guys who are not being in huddles. Since they're not in huddles, they're not calling plays. Like you said, the plays is being called by the sideline. So they're all looking at the play.
Yeah.
And then in the NFL, basically, you're getting a play call in your ear, and you got to call this play. And then, like, sometimes they're telling you what else to do if
Mhm.
you see this look, right? And that could also make the verbiage a lot longer, right? They call the first play and the second play. Then maybe I'm thinking this is what Justin Fields saying. He might have been getting coached too much, where you may be getting information like, well, if you see this,
Yeah.
then do this, right? And that may be overwhelming. So I'm hoping with the Bears, they don't do that to Caleb and just run stuff that's kind of comfortable to what he ran at USC to help make that transition
That
better.
would
You
be
get any closing remarks before we close out tonight?
I just hope everybody um really gives Caleb an opportunity and don't look at him as Pat Mahomes. Just allow him to find his game because yeah, I don't like comparisons because they never work. We said that same thing about Zach Wilson and he was a total bust. Let's just see
Mm-hmm.
what he do and just ride with him. That's all I got.
Okay. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight with Kristen Jones, the QB coach, man. Christian always dropping dimes all the time with his information. And I know we did one uh, quarterback tutorial with him and D Hamp, and we've been trying to get back to it, but we definitely going to get back to it. And if you like some of the stuff that he was saying about dagger concepts and running whip routes and stick routes, and we got some more on football one-on-one, and we probably gonna do some more of that during the off season as we go into the summer. But thank you for tuning in to the 2-minute drill with quarterback coach Cristen Jones. So until next time, peace.